Let's check out today's big stat, and it is specific to the all-time wins leader in Iowa men's basketball history. That is Fran McCaffery, a 78-40 record since 2020. That's the third most wins by any Big Ten team in that span, and he has appeared in 7 of the last 9 NCAA tournaments. He's got 4 consensus All-Americans throughout that time, and of course, the 2022 Big Ten tournament title. So makes sense to have Coach Fran McCaffery be our big interview that we will discuss today. And we really appreciate Fran McCaffery being with us right now. And Coach, the way that things have gone for your squad this season, we'll get to that in a moment, but it's a special week, a significant week, as everyone tries to honor Coaches versus Cancer. And the Suits and Sneakers Week is something that's been near and dear to your heart. Give us a little bit of a sense for the way that cancer, as we know the story of your son Patrick and others around your family, the way cancer has impacted you and why this week has become so special for you.
Well, it's been special for me for quite some time, going back to when I got involved with Coaches versus Cancer. Lost both my parents to cancer. So going back to my days at UNC Greensboro, I was involved with the Coaches versus Cancer program. As you know, it is the charity of choice for the National Association of Basketball Coaches. So all of us are, obviously very diligent in using our platform to try to fight this disease and join the cause any way we can. When it affected us in 2014 with our son Patrick, obviously it hits home a little bit more. And we had become really involved on a local level, but also on a national level. I'm on the National Council for Coaches versus Cancer. My wife just completed a 6-year time period on the American Cancer National Board. She'll now go on the ACS CAN board. So we are really joined in trying to do whatever we can to raise money for the Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center right here on campus, whether it's playing in Lon Kruger's golf outing in Las Vegas or the National Coaches versus Cancer event. We do a Coaches versus Cancer golf outing in state. We do a Coaches versus Cancer gala in the spring. We have our own gala at our home for AYA, which is the Adolescent and Young Adult Cancer Program here at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics. So it's been really incredible for me to have the opportunity to join so many coaches. So many of us go out to Lon's event. We bring big groups, and I've done B Foundation events with Dick Vitale every year, and it's just amazing to watch all of us join together in this one fight. And we are clearly making a difference. This week, obviously, is Suits and Sneakers Week. We started this many years ago, but I think we've done a better job recently of trying to monetize this week in a different way. I mean, in the beginning, it was create awareness. Okay, why are the coaches wearing sneakers? Well, now we wear sneakers all the time, and we're quarter zips, but we're actually going to go back to wearing suits and sneakers for this week to create awareness and obviously, hopefully, raise some funds.
Really glad you mentioned the AYA there as well. Your son Patrick was at, in some ways, kind of a unique age at 14. He was too old for the pediatric cancer program and still a bit too young in some ways for some of the adult programs in place there. So that adolescent and young adult cancer program that you and your wife have been really entrenched in, it's really done a lot of great work for a lot of folks. So thanks for your efforts there.
It's interesting because what was happening is cancer patients in that age range were not having the same outcomes. And so we were the second hospital in the Midwest to start an AYA program. So we got involved right away. And so far, I've raised well over $1 million. I'm going to present a check for $130,000 at a game coming up this week. So you're absolutely right. And the Journey just did an incredible special on Patrick and his friend Austin Schrader. Austin passed at age 15, and we're hoping that, and his family has done tremendous work in raising money in his memory. So hopefully other families will not have to go through what the Schrader family went through.
A really special story being told there, like you mentioned, by the Journey, Bill Friedman and his team, showing the Flash tattoo on Patrick's chest and everything else. Really cool just to get a little bit more depth on that aspect. Coach, I know it's been a little over a week at this point, but I'd love to give folks the opportunity to hear from you on the milestone that you achieved last week, surpassing Dr. Tom Davis as the all-time wins leader in Hawkeye men's basketball history. It was obviously a very special moment for you to be able to do that. What did that mean for you to be able to claim a number one spot over a guy you revere as much as you do Dr. Tom Davis?
It was a tremendous feeling. You think about so many things, the journey itself, just reflecting on that, getting a call on a Sunday morning and having to wake our children up and tell them, hey, we're moving halfway across the country and taking a new job. They leave their friends, their school, their teams. And then, of course, having the opportunity to coach both Connor and Patrick and have Connor on the team essentially for 6 years. And he was involved in 111 of those wins. We won the Big Ten championship celebrating on the court together with them. But, it's the support that I've gotten from my wife, Margaret, and all of our family. But then you think back on the staff members that we've had, the players that hung in there with us in the beginning. I had to convince Devin Marble and Zach McCabe and Melson Basabi in those early years, Bryce Cartwright to come with us. And then, it was Woodbury, Gasell, and Clemens, and Olashaney, and White. You just think about all the players that I've been so fortunate enough to coach. And then, to watch the Murray twins as fourth graders and watch them get drafted in the first round. What a great feeling that was. And, I saw a big kid at age 14 or 15 and said, I think that kid's going to be pretty good. Next thing you know, Luka Garza is a National Player of the Year. And that's what it's about. I mean, you get it. That's, I think, the fun of it. Yeah, it's challenging. Yes, there are ups and downs and there are tough times. But, when you have an opportunity to reflect and look back, but then also, recognize one of the best to ever do it in Dr. Tom Davis, somebody that I've gotten to know really well over the years, not just since I got here, but I've known him a long time and always respected him and how he did it. And so he's been incredibly gracious. He came on a radio show the other night and he sent me a really nice note. But he's been a good friend and somebody that I just have the utmost respect for. Like I said, not only what he did, but how he did it. And we'll continue to try to do it that way.
14 seasons in, at this point, you've had, the opportunity to shape so many lives and to teach the sport that you love to so many folks over the years. What's been the most gratifying aspect of the way that you've operated with Hawkeye basketball over the years?
Well, it's essentially what you just said. That's the relationship side and watching our guys graduate and watching them go out into the world, and whether they keep playing or they go into business or they become teachers or whatever they decide to do, staying connected with them and having been a part of helping them grow and kind of find their way, initially helping them become the best basketball player they can be. But there's so much more to it when you're an athlete at this level. And there's so much more that they deal with than when I was playing, with the social media side of it. But, every day we get to play this game that we love with our teammates and travel around the country and play on television and, overcome adversity and stay together and understand what teamwork and hard work is. And that obviously will basically pave the way for what you end up becoming and who you are. And I just, I'm so thankful. There was a video presentation that was given to me by my wife and the folks here of all of our players, congratulating me in their own way, for those 14 years that you referenced. And that was really emotional for me, and seeing guys now they're, a decade out and out in the real world, married with children and just enjoying their life because of, some of the great things they had the opportunity to do here. And they all remain connected to this program and to our institution.
Now, with this year's squad, Fran, there's no Luka Garza, there's no Chris or Keegan Murray. I'm wondering, is the burden of production for this year's version of Hawkeye men's basketball, is it more evenly distributed than squads you've had in recent years?
No question, and it's probably one of the deeper teams we've had. We've had some deep teams. We've had some teams that weren't deep, and I rode the first 5 or 6 guys, 36 minutes plus. This group, as we came into the season, obviously I was looking at Tony Perkins and Peyton Sanford and Patrick McCaffery, our 3 veteran guys, but also Ben Crickey, a veteran guy who we got out of the portal. So he's not a returner, but he's new, but he's also a guy who led the Valley in scoring. And we knew we were going to have to count on some freshmen. I'm thrilled for Owen Freeman, Rookie of the Week 6 times. But our other freshmen have all done well, as has our sophomore class, Josh Dixon, DeSante Bowen. But, Harding, Lodgy, and Bryce Sanford have been terrific. So, we've been able to, absorb some injuries. Patrick's had the bad sprained ankle. We've had some issues with, obviously, Owen Freeman's grandmother just passed, and he's not been at practice. So he should be back for tomorrow's game. But, that's why, we have Evan Braun's, another guy we got out of the portal, who's a local guy who was a veteran player, and we're excited to have him in the lineup to have an opportunity. So you're 100% right. I think we've had more than 5 guys get 20 points in a game this year, so it's pretty amazing.
To have Owen Freeman, Tony Perkins, you've had guys dealing with off-the-court loss and some family tragedy at times this season. So it just adds to what everyone, sort of has to navigate throughout a really difficult basketball season with all the competition that you guys face. Your competition on the court will commence tomorrow night against Maryland. With the Terrapins, you're coming off the performance against Purdue, so obviously you want to make sure your team is prepared to have a big performance there. What challenges do Kevin Willard's squad end up presenting to you?
Well, Kevin's always going to challenge you. I mean, I've been coaching against him, I think, since 2007 when we were in the league together in the MAC. He was at Iona. I was at Siena. I have the utmost respect for him and the job he does. You look at that team and say, well, it kind of starts with Young, right? He's had 30 points the last 4 road games. But, Scott is one of the more veteran guys, if not the most veteran guy in our league, really good player. Reese is playing at a very high level. But, the other guys, Geronimo and a lot of their freshmen are fiercely competitive, really play defense. They challenge you. Of course, Kevin's going to change defenses. That challenges your offense. But they got guys that can score. They have guys that can defend. They're going to put heat on the basketball. We both like to run. So it should be an exciting game. Obviously, we'll have our guys prepared with a scouting report. But as you know, in this league, every time you take the floor, the team has a great coach and great players, and you have to play well, and you have to play well consistently.
Well, you mentioned excitement, certainly an exciting day in Iowa City. I know you'll be out there later in the day when Beth Getz is officially announced as the new full-time athletic director for the Hawkeyes. As always, really appreciate your time, Fran. Thanks so much.
Always my pleasure. Take care.